Welcome to the Modernize or Die podcast, CFML News Edition, where we keep you up to date with everything going on in the Cold Fusion community. We'll share the latest news on events, releases to engines, frameworks, libraries, and tools, as well as spotlighting quality content from the community.
Hello, and welcome to the Modernize or Die podcast, CFML News Edition. It is August 22nd, 2023, episode 202. My name is Eric Peterson.
Doing very well. Glad to be back. It's been a little bit.
It has been, and sporting an awesome hat there, we can see.
Thank you. Yeah, my wife just recently visited Denver for work, and she brought me back this hat. And I've never been to Denver, so this is my I want to visit Denver hat.
There you go. Get this party started by thanking our sponsor, Order Solutions. They're the makers of all your favorite box products like Cold Box, Command Box, Forge Box, Test Box, and many more. And there's a few ways that you can say thank you back to Order Solutions.
Yeah, you can like and subscribe to our videos here on YouTube. You can also help us on GitHub. You can reach for the stars. So all of our repos have a star button next to them. You can go there and click that button. You can also fork our repos there, and that helps us out a bunch. You can subscribe to our podcast on any of your favorite podcast apps and leave reviews there. And also don't forget, we do have free and paid accounts over on CFcast. And we are releasing content every week there, so be sure to check that out. And in addition to those things, we also have a Box Life store where we have some merchandise that you can go check out. So we'll be posting the link here over in the chat section.
Yeah, you can get another cool hat there, Grant. This one with
I can.
I
Yeah.
have a few of those. I think all of my baseball caps are box focused, so I'm kind of a nerd that way.
I'll have to see if Luis
Get one of our books, like 102 Cold Box Quick Tips and Tricks over on Gumroad, or learn modern cold fusion in 100 minutes. That one is free online, or you can buy an ebook or paper copy as well on our website. Finally, we wouldn't be where we are today without our stupendous Patreon supporters. We have over 40 Patreons supporting us, and we will tell you more about them, the perks you can get, and how you can also be a Patreon at the end of this podcast. All right, well, let's talk about some news and announcements. First, some exciting news. There are only 3 tickets left coming for the Cold Box 7 workshop at Adobe Cold Fusion Summit West. So if you've been dragging your heels thinking, I'll be fine, there'll be space, there is very little space left. So 3 tickets. We'll throw the link in. You can still sign up right now. Luis and Gavin will take you through and help you become Cold Box 7 masters.
Very nice. Also in news and announcements, if you haven't heard, Lucy announced a very critical security alert, and this affects all previous releases of Lucy. I don't believe they released what the vulnerability was, but they have patched it, and there are some stable releases there that they released. One is the 5.4.3.2. That is the recommended stable release. If you're using 5.3, they did release 5.3.12. I believe they've also backported some other releases as well for users that haven't upgraded from older versions. And I think that was 5.3.9, 5.3.8, and a 5.3.7. So if you are using Lucy, if you're using any previous version of Lucy, we highly recommend you patch your servers and upgrade.
That's right.
To these latest releases.
So I don't know the exact specifics. I do know this was an XML related vulnerability. XML external entity. So a way that you can load an external file inside of like an XML doc type. So that is now turned off by default. And we'll cover that in a minute too with some command box news as well.
Gotcha.
Okay, and finally for all of you wanting or planning to attend Adobe ColdFusion Summit West 2023, the agenda is live. You can visit it at cfsummit.adobeevents.com/agenda and see all of the speakers that you're going to be able to choose from. I think we have four of our own from Ortis. We have Luis, Brad, Daniel, and Gavin all getting to speak there. So,
Nice.
as well as many other great members of the community. It's going to be a great conference if you can make it out, and a very cheap one compared to most conferences. So let Adobe subsidize your learning. Come to CF
That's
Summit.
that's the one in Vegas, right?
It is. It's October 2nd through 4th.
And
So-
now I'm like, why didn't I submit a talk? I mean, I don't know that we got picked, but still.
I know they had a lot of talks to go through, and I put in like 8 and didn't get one, so they must have had
Oh,
a good selection, or they don't like me. One of the two, or both.
everyone likes you, Eric. Come on, man.
All right. Well, hey, let's jump into some news. Updates and releases. So Command Box 5.9.1 was released, and this is bringing in that Lucy security fix into Command Box, both in Command Box itself and also as the default server. If you start your servers just with server start and nothing in a server.json. Brad has noted in it that it is now strict parsing XML. And if you have any containing, and I should have looked this up, DTDs, which we'll see how fast we can go. Any of those will not be parsed anymore in Lucy. You can turn that back on either application-wide through an application setting, or by, I believe Lucy put some per call settings in XML parse that you can parse those DTDs if you deem it safe and needed.
So this was turned off before, and now it's turned on, the strict parsing? Or do I have
Correct.
that
Yeah,
backwards?
correct.
Oh, okay.
So before, any doc type would be parsed in your XML, and that's where these external entities were able to be loaded. So now Lucy will not parse those at all, and you need to turn them on if you need them. So yes, there's a. If I switch over to my screen here, we have a this.xml features, and you can say external general entities and disallow doc type decl, because declaration's too long to type.
It is too long.
Okay, and as always, you can easily upgrade by just typing upgrade into command box. It'll download this and get you all set and going.
Very
All
nice.
right.
Good work, Brad. Thank you.
Should we talk about some webinars, meetups, and workshops coming up?
We should. August 25th, we've got the Hawaii ColdFusion meetup group. It's covering GraphQL, and it is with Mark Takata. If you haven't worked with it before, GraphQL is a query language for APIs and a runtime for fulfilling those queries with your existing data. And I think in ColdFusion, Adobe ColdFusion 2023, they're providing native methods for QL. And that's what I've got here in my notes. So that'll be something to check out for sure, and maybe take a look.
That's awesome. Okay, and Mark's pulling double duty on August 25th, because before that one, which was at 12 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, at 10 a.m. Pacific, so I don't know, do the math there, 6 hours before, he will be talking about the new Google Cloud Platform features on a webinar for Adobe. So if you want your double dose of Mark Takata this Friday, August 25th, 10 a.m. Pacific, and then 12 p.m. Hawaii, because time zones. Okay, let's talk about some CFCast updates. Grant, I know you're working on some awesome stuff here.
I have been. So I'm currently, we haven't released it yet, but I'm in the middle of working on some CB Wire videos and a series covering that. So working on that. We'll be putting that out soon. And we've got some other ones coming up as well. I think Cold Box Elixir, right? Is that what you're working on, Eric?
That is right. Yeah, I've been getting through those videos. I think I have 4 or 5 ready now, so they should be starting to trickle out to you anytime now,
Nice.
subscribers. So make sure you head over to cfcast.com and sign up for an account. I know for Cold Box Elixir, the first few will be free, and then you'll need to subscribe to watch the rest of them. Likely something similar for this CB Wire series, which is I've gotten to see some of the videos. They're awesome, folks. You're gonna want to watch these. So.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'd be surprised if any of you have gotten through all the Into the Box 2023 videos, which are now up on the site. If you attended Into the Box 2023, you have free access. You should have gotten a code. Reach out if you haven't. And for all other subscribers, you can pay to get premium access to that right now. It's a 6-month exclusive window. 3 and amazing content coming up.
I did attend Into the Box 2023, and I have not gotten through all the videos.
There you go. See?
Need to get on that.
All right. Well, let's talk about conferences coming up. We got some awesome conferences soon and some great conference announcements. So let's start off with Grant. Tell us about some awesome conferences coming up here.
Yeah, so as we mentioned previously, there's the Adobe CF Summit West. We've got that in Las Vegas. That's October 2nd through the 4th. And the session passes are only $199, and you've got pro passes that are $299. I'm not sure what the differences are on those. But we've got a link here.
The professional pass lets you attend their certification the next day.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep, to become an Adobe certified professional.
And I've got here in the notes that students can get a free pass if they are enrolled in some educational institution. I guess can maybe provide a document on that or something. But
probably just need a .edu email address. That's usually how those go. But you'll
so right after Adobe CF Summit 0 to Hero, that's with Luis and Gavin at Ortis. And let's see, regular price tickets. What are they?
They're $6.99, 3 left.
$6.99. Yep.
Yep. But for you listening today, you can go use the discount code Modernize and get 25% off. So go snatch up one of those last 3 tickets at a discount on us.
Very nice. And it looks like it's going to be close to the venue for CF Summit. So
that's
very
right.
close, within walking distance, I think. Yeah.
All right, we have some awesome Into the Box announcements. The first one is you can now go to latam.intothebox.org and get reserve seats and get tickets for Into the Box Latam. That's happening on November 30th at the University of Business in El Salvador. You can also see the speakers that are going to be there and the sessions they're going to talk about. All up on that website now. So
I'm going to be there.
I know. That's
going
awesome.
to El Salvador.
Giving you a talk in Spanish, right?
Yeah. It's going to be a short talk, man. Well, just say hello and goodbye.
There you are.
But yeah, I'm super excited about that. I've been wanting to go for a few years now, so I'm glad that we were able to make it happen this year.
That's awesome. Well, we hope all of you out there that are going to be in that area can come join as well. $25 for business professionals. If I am reading my Spanish right, here we'll throw that up on the screen. So there you go, $15 estudiantes. Don't hate my Spanish pronunciation. But go ahead and check out latam.intothebox.org where you can. Okay. We also have some great news. Into the Box 2024. We've been teasing this a bit, but we have a great blog post out on our site, and we can tell you that the Into the Box 2024 venue. So this is official now. This is where we're at. We have the dates of May 15th through the 17th. We have the venue at Optica in DC. You can start looking for hotels, for flights. And we even have what we're calling blind tickets. So we don't have our speakers yet, but if you trust us to put on a great event, you've been to our other ones, and you know you're going to really love this. You can save up to $400 right now by just booking your tickets right now.
Wow.
So secure your blind tickets today. Join us in DC. I'm super excited for DC. I lived there for a few years. I don't know, maybe a decade back now, and I don't get back a lot, so I'm excited to go there. Got to go a few days early and go visit all my favorite places.
Honestly, I was kind of hoping we would change. We've done Houston a lot, so this is kind of a nice change.
I think my only regret of not doing it in Houston is, even though we've gone there, however many years, 6-7 years, I've never gone to the city Houston. Right, we go to the airport and drive north. I still don't know what Houston, the city's like at all, but it's fine. You will not have that problem here. It's just a few miles away from the National Mall and all the monuments and museums and sites there. So you will not miss any of that. So,
Luis, when you watch this, if we could have like a team day to go look at stuff, because I've never been, so that would be maybe we can work that in. I'll bug him about it.
Definitely have to. Awesome. All right, let's talk about some blogs, posts, X's, and videos of the week. I still don't know what they're calling it.
I think we've landed on X.
It is, but the URL is still Twitter, and it still, I believe, says, well, I don't know if it says tweets. It says like posts. But anyways, I'm going to forever make fun of it because I think it's a really stupid idea. Anyway, that's not what we need to talk about today. Videos of the week. First, we have a pair from Ben Nadal. First is a sanity check using overflow scrolling on Flexbox panels. So Flexbox is, I don't know, surpassed by Grid to make what used to be crazy layouts very easy. And so in this article, Ben's going over how the overflow keywords like overflow scroll and overflow auto interact with flexible containers. They're always great to see because they help you, is my expectation correct? And you can both see his code and it working on the screen. And spoiler alert, it works exactly as he hoped it would. So go ahead and check it out on his site for CSS, Flexbox, and overflow scrolling. He property of an exception that's being thrown. And interestingly, in Adobe Cold Fusion, it's not always a string. Like Ben had thought, when you get that error struct, you get message, detail, stack trace, type. Type was always a string, right? Well, evidently not. So here's an example where he had the problem where he was trying to loop over a ordered struct like an array, because it kind of looks like an array when you use the shorthand. And instead of getting a string, he got this class here in type. So just interesting. I'm not sure if this happens in Lucy. He says he wasn't able to reproduce the same error in Lucy. So I believe you can get the name of the type of that class later, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Favorite thing about it is it gave me my joke translation for the week. So we've talked about this before. Updates for Devs is just a site that seems to take content and run it through something to make it translate weird. I don't know. So this is his article. Remember, it was error type isn't always a string, and it became mistake kind isn't constantly a string. So there's your updates for dev translation. I feel like we should follow these people just because they provide me with entertainment, even if they are just scripted.
That's funny. And so we do have another blog post, this time from our Brad Wood. So this stemmed from a conversation that him and I had. We had a client that was looking to do some rate limiting with their Lucy installation, and Brad and I were talking about how to do that. And Brad was explaining to me that there's already been a setting in command box for some time that's called web.maxRequest. That's in server.json, and you can put a number in there to the entire server. And there was a problem though in that if you allow, he gave an example of if you allow 25 concurrent requests and someone just keeps hitting like the refresh button 30 times, let's say on a report that takes 5 minutes, then there won't be any available threads to serve those requests, and they will just sit there. And so Brad was showing me that we can actually do, there's another section of command box called server rules, where we can define a specific about it. So you can specify like a request limit for an entire site. So an individual site, not just the entire server, but maybe you want to, get down to only on this server on this site, do this limit. But you also can even add limits for URLs too. So if you have like a specific URL that you want to make sure, we only want there to be this many number of threads that are processing at a given time, you can do that. So Brad wrote up a post on that over on the Ortus community forum. And I thought that was really interesting, and that ended up taking care of what we were needing for the client.
Oh, that's really cool. Thanks for having that conversation and sharing it with all of us.
Thank Brad. He's the one that's I'm just every day, Brad, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? So thank you, Brad.
I hear that. All right, let's talk about Find a Job. Over on getcfmljobs.com, there are over 87 Cold Fusion positions from 58 companies across 41 locations in 5 countries. We have 2 new jobs in the last couple weeks. The first one is a full-time Cold Fusion developer at Quincy, Massachusetts. And the second one is another full-time Cold Fusion developer at, I'm going to try this, Thiruvananthapuram in India. That's probably not how you say it, but I'm going to try it. As well, you can check out the jobs channel in the CFML Slack or the Box Team Slack. Let's jump to ForgeBox module of the week. I got to be honest, I'm a little worried here. This one's by David Levin, and David, you've put in a lot of ForgeBox modules in the last few months, and I don't like people coming up on my turf of having the most modules, so you watch out.
Eric is very competitive. Very.
How about you tell us about this one, Grant?
Yeah, so it's called Remember Me, and it's cold box module. It's designed to work with your authentication system to do the Remember Me and automatically log in users on subsequent visits. So I haven't actually got to take a look at how you implement it, but I'm guessing there's probably you just install it and there's maybe a little bit of configuration involved.
That's right. It's made to work with like CB Auth, which is the default authentication provider in CB Security. So you can just point it to your user service class. You can give an encrypt key for your token and how many days to remember. I think my favorite thing were his method names. So jumping down, he has an interceptor here because you can imagine you want to check every request if you need to log them in. So he has remember cookie exists, remember recall me, and remember forget me. I just thought that's a fun API. Some good names there.
Yeah, it is good names.
So I wonder if this interceptor could also be included in the module. I don't know if it is or not, but then it's even easier to set it up. That's the best part about cold box modules to me. You can have automatic interceptors, automatic helpers, all these great things. So that is a very useful module. I am upset that I didn't make it first, but I don't need to now because David did. Good job, David. And I hope you know I'm just joking. I think it's awesome.
I mean, how are you going to maintain 1,000 projects? I don't know how, from a practical standpoint, you're going to do this.
It's all about command box semantic release, which is not the ForgeBox module of the week, but it's my module I made so that when I push to GitHub, or like when the commit comes in, it can determine from the commit message if it should be a major, minor, or patch release. And I didn't want releases to be dependent on, am I in front of my computer able to pull the code down and type box bump minor. That just seemed really dumb. I wanted to just merge a pull request and it was done, and so now I can. So I can be out and about and merge someone's pull request on my phone and it still releases. So
That's awesome.
that
Yeah, I'm still doing it the manual way. I need to look into that.
Yeah, it takes some wrapping your head around, and I've built it up, and whenever I have a new module, it's already all set up to do that. So it did take a lot of work to get there, but it's been worth it.
Very nice.
All right, our VS Code hint, tip, and trick of the week is an old one resurfacing called I18N Ally. So I18N standing for internationalization. This is a VS Code plugin that helps you to get your translations in your system. It supports many frameworks. It doesn't natively support cold boxes yet, but we could probably work on that. I use it a lot with Vue and the Vue internationalization library. And it has wonderful inline annotations. It can show you the key as well as the language that you want to see it in. When you hover over, you can see the translations for all your different languages. You can edit them right there, or you can even hit this little globe icon to have Google Translate guess it for you. And then the hierarchy and put the keys in as you want. There's even an editor UI and a review system. So for somebody like me, when I put in the Spanish translations in CFCast, it's almost all Google Translate, and then I make sure that one of our Spanish speakers reviews that and that it makes sense. So some amazing things. You can extract text into internationalization messages and get a report of all missing translations. So great tool. It makes working with internationalization so much easier, which I think all of us want that in our sites, and we just feel like it's easy to not like get behind or miss things. So
when you're going, I'm just curious, when you're going through that, and let's say you've got VS Code pulled up and you're hovering over maybe a place where you would insert, some text, it's writing it out to like the different language files. I'm guessing that's kind of how it works.
Screen here, as long as I've hit all the things I need to. So this is our English translation file in CFCasts. And we use hierarchical ones, so there's multiple levels. And then when I go to like our main index page, we want to find one of these. Let's see, $T. You got this home hero pitch, and as I hover over, I can see in English it says "Learn from the makers of Cold Box Test Box," and then there's the Spanish version right underneath it. I can hit the edit to have them pop over. I can change it here, and this editor is just changing that JSON file. So it's just, the English JSON file or the Spanish one. And if I had French, it would also appear here. If I had Mandarin, Portuguese, any of those languages, it would appear here as well. In the end, it's just editing these JSON files. I think it can do property files if you configure it that way, but JSON was the way that we went. So it just gives a nice way to manage all these files, and in the end, it's still in your repo, source controlled, able to be used by other tools. The Coldbox internationalization package can use these JSON files as well, so you can share them. We don't have the cool like on hover stuff yet, but I bet we could do a pull request or something. I just haven't gone around to that because I'll be honest, the front ends I use it in are mostly Vue, not Coldbox. But yeah, that's
really cool.
Yeah, so that's I18N Ally. Highly recommend it.
I don't know who came up with I18N, but I appreciate it. Having to type that out is not fun. Internationalization over and over and over again.
Is it any fewer syllables though, right? Internationalization. 7 syllables, I18N. Yeah, I guess so. It always feels longer to say I18N for some reason. Like easier to type, longer to say.
I'm thinking about typing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
So it is funny though that things like internationalization or accessibility, which is often like isn't it A11N or A11Y,
They have one for that too. Yeah, I
which
didn't
is
know
hilarious because it's the least accessible thing to do to like shorten that to.
that.
I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. I've seen a whole bunch of those. So, and somebody, if anybody knows the name for like the term for replacing the middle with a number, what kind of abbreviation that is, I'd be curious if there's like a term for that. So, get a hold of us if you know that. To the end, and we want to tell you about our stupendous Patreon supporters. These are individuals that are personally supporting our open source initiatives, like this podcast would not be here without them. Also, toolings like CommandBox, ForgeBox, ColdBox, ContentBox, and TestBox, to name a few. They help us get the continuous development we need for these open source projects. Funds the cloud infrastructure for ForgeBox, and with package management like CommandBox, and as we said before, this podcast. You can support us yourself at patreon.com/OrtisSolutions. If you subscribe at the bronze package and up, you get a ForgeBox Pro and CFCast subscription as a perk. You have access to your own private forum on our community website and an awesome profile badge to show off how stupendous you really are. And there's a private channel access on our Box Team Slack as well. So we want to end by thanking our top stupendous Patreon supporters. And
Yes, name them off here. We've got John Wilson with Synatrix, Tomorrow Guides, Jordan Clark, Gary Knight, Giancarlo Gomez, David Bellinger, Dan Card, Jeffrey McGee with Sunstar Media, Dean Monder, Kevin Wright, Doug Kane, Nolan Irk, Abdul Rahim, and many more Patreons. So thank you so much to all of you. You can see an up-to-date list of all of our sponsors over on the Ortis website, and we'll be posting a link to that. So thank you all so much for being Patreons and supporting what we do.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Show notes for this episode can be found at cfmlnews.modernize.io, where you can also subscribe to your favorite podcast player like Spotify or iTunes. We also have the link to YouTube to find more videos just like this. The music used in this podcast is under a royalty-free license from Sound.com and Blue Tree Audio.